Welcome to Real Numismatic, where every coin has a story and every detail matters. Today, we're looking at a large American dollar that carries the portrait of one of the most important figures in 20th century U.S. history. At first glance, this 1978 Eisenhower dollar may look like an ordinary old coin, but its final year status, enormous size, historical connection to the space age, and the dramatic difference between circulated and high-grade examples make it a fascinating piece for collectors. And the most important question is simple: what is a 1978 Eisenhower dollar actually worth today? The coin shown in these photographs is a 1978 Eisenhower dollar, and the absence of a mint mark beneath Eisenhower's portrait indicates that it appears to be the Philadelphia mint version, assuming the coin is genuine. The date is clearly visible at the bottom of the obverse, while the reverse shows the famous eagle and lunar imagery associated with the Eisenhower dollar series. From the photographs, this is clearly a circulated example. There is noticeable wear across Eisenhower's portrait, the fields, lettering, and reverse design, along with surface marks and discoloration consistent with circulation. I do not see an obvious dramatic mint error in these photographs, and nothing visible here is enough to authenticate a rare variety by itself. That distinction is extremely important because a coin can look unusual without actually being a recognized mint error. The Eisenhower dollar was introduced in 1971 and became an important chapter in modern American coinage. The coin honored Dwight D. Eisenhower, the five-star general who served as Supreme Allied Commander in Europe during World War II, and later became the 34th President of the United States. According to the United States Mint, the Eisenhower dollar was the first circulating U.S. dollar coin authorized to carry the portrait of a president. It also represented a return to a large dollar format after the end of traditional silver dollar production. The story behind the reverse is equally fascinating. Instead of simply celebrating Eisenhower, the design connected the coin to one of America's greatest technological achievements. The reverse depicts an eagle descending toward the surface of the moon, holding an olive branch. The imagery was based on the Apollo 11 mission insignia and was intended to honor the accomplishments of American astronauts and the historic first lunar landing. That means this $1 coin connects two major themes of American history: the leadership of Dwight Eisenhower and the extraordinary achievements of the U.S. space program. The coin was designed by U.S. Mint chief engraver Frank Gasparo. Its huge dimensions immediately separate it from modern American dollar coins. A regular 1978 Eisenhower dollar measures approximately 38.5 millimeters across and weighs about 22.7 grams. It has a reeded edge and is made from a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a pure copper center. The standard composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel. Over the copper core, that composition is particularly important because many people mistakenly assume that every Eisenhower dollar contains silver. That is not true. Some earlier Eisenhower dollars were produced in a 40% silver-clad composition for collectors, but the regular 1978 Philadelphia and Denver circulation issues were copper-nickel clad. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar shown here should therefore not be treated as a silver coin simply because it is an Ike dollar. If someone claims that a normal 1978 Philadelphia Eisenhower dollar is automatically a silver dollar, that claim is incorrect. There is another reason the 1978 issue deserves attention. 1978 was the final year of the Eisenhower dollar series. The large dollar was already facing practical problems. Its enormous size and weight made it less convenient for everyday transactions, especially compared with paper currency. At the same time, policymakers were considering a smaller dollar design. The transition eventually led to the Susan B. Anthony dollar, and the production of the large Eisenhower dollar came to an end. The Philadelphia Mint produced 25,702,000 regular 1978 Eisenhower dollars. That is not a tiny mintage, so the date should not automatically be called rare. In fact, Professional references generally treat the normal 1978 issue as a readily obtainable date in circulated grades. But there is a very important difference between being common, in worn condition, and being difficult to find in exceptional condition. And this is where the 1978 Eisenhower dollar becomes much more interesting to serious collectors. Because these coins were large, heavy, and handled in bulk, many surviving examples developed contact marks, scratches, and other surface problems. Finding a circulated 1978 Eisenhower dollar is not particularly difficult. Finding one that remained exceptionally clean and attractive after decades is another story. PCGs notes that high-grade 1978 business strikes become significantly more challenging as the grade rises, with Ms. 66 and especially Ms. 67 examples being much scarcer than ordinary circulated coins. The difference in value can therefore be dramatic. Current PCG's pricing information lists ordinary 1978 Philadelphia examples around the low dollar range in lower mint state grades, while higher grades can command substantially more. For example, the current PCG's guide lists approximately $48 for Ms. 65, $150 for Ms. 66, and $700 for Ms. 67 for the 1978 Philadelphia issue. These are guide figures, not guaranteed selling prices, and actual transactions can vary depending on certification, appeal, timing, and buyer demand. There is also a documented auction history showing just how much condition can matter. PCGs records a 1978 Philadelphia Eisenhower dollar graded Ms. 67, selling for $6,000 at Heritage Auctions on January 15, 2023. More recently, another PCG's Ms. 67 example appeared in a Stax Bowers sale in August 2025 and realized $3,120. Those results demonstrate why you should never take the value of an exceptional coin and apply it to an ordinary circulated example. Now, let's compare that with the coin in our photographs. This particular example shows significant circulation where Eisenhower's hair and facial details have been softened, the high points of the portrait have lost definition, and there are numerous visible surface marks. The reverse also shows considerable wear across the eagle, ring, and fields. There is also discoloration and surface alteration visible in the photographs. Based strictly on these images, this coin does not appear to be a high-grade mint state specimen. I would not assign an exact professional grade from photographs alone, because grading requires a careful examination of the entire coin under controlled lighting and, ideally, in hand. But visually, it is clearly circulated rather than an untouched mint state coin. The lack of a mint mark is also worth explaining. Eisenhower dollar mint marks are found on the obverse beneath Eisenhower's bust. Philadelphia issues from this period generally carry no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a D and San Francisco collector issues carry an S. In the supplied photograph, I can see no mint mark beneath the bust, which supports identifying this particular coin as a 1978 Philadelphia issue. However, authentication and final attribution should always be based on the physical coin, not photographs alone. Collectors should also know that the 1978 Eisenhower dollar has documented die varieties. PCG's lists, among others, a 1978 $1 FS402 clashed die obverse variety. But this is exactly where caution is needed. A strange-looking mark, scratch, depression, or line does not automatically make a coin a rare variety. Die varieties have specific diagnostic characteristics, and a genuine attribution should be made only after those characteristics are confirmed. So, what should you look for if you have a 1978 Eisenhower dollar at home? Start with the date. Then check the area beneath Eisenhower's bust for the mint mark. If there is no mint mark, you may have the Philadelphia issue. Next, inspect the surfaces carefully. Look for strong original luster, minimal contact marks, sharp lettering, and excellent definition in Eisenhower's hair and facial features. On the reverse, examine the eagle, moon, lettering, and open fields for scratches and contact marks. Most importantly, Do not clean the coin in an attempt to make it look brighter. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surface and may reduce its desirability to collectors. You should also be careful with claims that a 1978 Eisenhower dollar is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars simply because it is old. Age alone does not make this coin rare. A circulated 1978 Eisenhower dollar and a professionally graded Ms. 67 example are completely different collectibles. The high prices associated with top-grade pieces are driven by condition, scarcity at that grade, collector demand, and documented market results, not simply by the fact that the coin is from 1978. For the coin shown here, I would therefore avoid assigning an inflated value. Its circulated condition, visible wear, and surface marks make it fundamentally different from the exceptional certified examples that bring strong prices. Its exact market value depends on the buyer, the coin's actual grade, authenticity, eye appeal, and current market conditions. A professional in-person evaluation would be required before making a precise valuation. There is also something historically satisfying about owning in an ordinary example. This was the last large-size Eisenhower dollar, and the series represents a fascinating period when the United States was trying to balance tradition, history, technology, and the practical demands of modern commerce. The coin's design takes us from Eisenhower's military legacy to the moon, while its final year status places it at the end of an important chapter in American dollar coinage. So, is this particular 1978 Eisenhower dollar a spectacular rarity worth thousands? Based on the photographs, there is no evidence that it is. But that does not make it uninteresting. It is a genuine-looking example of a historically important final year US dollar, and it gives us a perfect lesson in one of the most important rules of coin collecting. The condition matters, authentication matters, and documented varieties matter far more than exaggerated claims. If you have a 1978 Eisenhower dollar, don't throw it into a pile of ordinary change without checking it first. Examine the mint mark, study the surfaces, look for genuine die characteristics, and never clean it. And remember, the most valuable coin is not always the oldest coin, it is often the coin that combines the right date, mint, variety, condition, and collector demand. This is Real Numismatic, where we separate genuine numismatic history from internet hype and take a closer look at the coins that deserve our attention. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1978 Eisenhower dollar, make sure to like this video, share it with another collector, leave a comment telling us whether you own a 1978 Ike Dollar, and subscribe to Real Numismatic for more fact-check stories, rare coin discoveries, and fascinating pieces of American numismatic history. And until next time, keep checking your coins, because sometimes the most interesting story is hiding in plain sight.